Welcome back to another episode of Roof Talk. I am Aniket Patil, the founder of Skyline Roof & Co. In Roof Talk, we look above and beyond the surface of the construction industry. And today, I'm very excited to have Mr. Truven Jorge, who's the director of the Yelow, which is one of the leading interior design and building companies in Goa. Welcome, Truven.
Thank you, Aniket. Pleasure to be here and excited.
I'm glad to have you here. So let me start off with a bit of an icebreaker, right? Would you rather design and build a Goan home, or would you work on a buzzing cafe on the beach?
Tough question. Both come across as their unique set of challenges. But yeah, since my blood is Goan, I think if you have to give me both on a platter, I would pick that first and I'll tell you I'll finish this and then probably will attack that. Because we connect to Goa a lot, and we love, I as a person and my wife, we both love antiques. We both love old stuff, so we'll definitely
go for the home.
Yes, anytime.
Lovely. Truven, so just tell us a bit about your journey, bit about Yellow's journey. How did it come in? What was the inspiration behind it, and what is it exactly that you all do?
So Yelow was started off by my wife. She's the principal designer, and she heads the design in Yelow. So we started off just before COVID, and we started off just from a dining table in our apartment, and we had a dream of making it big, but we never thought it would, hop, skip and jump and take leaps now.
Okay.
We are blessed in that way. So we started off with, very small projects. Like I remember our first project we did for Yelow was billing was hardly around 3,000. We just did some plans for a friend of mine. And then I went on, I had a lot of network back then because I was into other businesses as well. And I just went on meeting people, and one lead got connected to another. And we ended up landing a pretty large project back then in Porvorim. It's still there in Porvorim, and it's turned out to be our landmark project. However, I thought that there would be no scope in Goa for interior design, and I would be working out of Goa in Bombay and Bangalore. But these last 7 years have been manic. It's been super crazy that I have been turning down jobs outside the state, and just in the last 6 months we have reopened ourselves to the markets, and we are working across the country now. So it's been a very exciting journey, a very steep learning curve, because no one in our business, in our family, has been into business. So we had to go and learn a lot about business, and we're still learning about design and business. Every day, every client, every project, even this podcast is a learning. I'll be learning from you today.
I'm so delighted that you're so, just always learning and so open to all of this. You said your first project, I believe you mentioned that to me. It's it's in Porvorim only. What is
Kasajeri.
it? Kasajeri. Yeah, no, beautiful place. I like that. So often when I want to kind of just grab a coffee and get a bit of work done, I think Kasajeri is the place to go. It's so quaint, and you've got the upstairs also. We can just sit down, do your work. Nobody really bothers you. Really nice place. When you started Yelow, so most of the design companies, or most of the people either design, and then they'll have multiple agencies like carpenters, linens, soft furnishing, painters, all of that separately, and then you have to appoint a contractor, and then the client has to deal with a lot of that stuff. So I believe that Yelow has made it a lot easier, because how did that inspiration come into place? Because I don't think there's a lot of companies which do that. Most of the companies just either design or execute.
Yes, that's because the execution part is most critical. So I spotted a gap in the market when we started Yelow, and I realized that it's very difficult to get good execution done, or even if you get execution done, it's very difficult to get after service, after a project is done. And I realized that in Goa, it's a very tough market in terms of labor.
Yeah.
And initially we used to just design, but then, one project snowballed into another, and my clients encouraged us. And in fact, we've had one of our oldest clients who gave us our first project. I still remember carrying tiles in my car and showing the client at home.
That is how it starts.
Because we could not invite them to. We didn't have an office. We could not say I'm working from my apartment table. So those are fond memories, and that's what I realized, that people want convenience and people want comfort and they want good service.
100%.
So over the last 7 years, we've been successful in building efficient contractors and laborers, and we've stuck with these people and they have stuck with us. Most importantly, that's our forte. So for example, Aniket, if you tell me, renovate my house, and if my entire team is there, I can assure you there'll be no major goof ups. Like everyone is going to be doing their job. No one is going to be just sitting idle or screwing up the site, because I know my team, and those guys have been there for me during my tough times, because today we have a large team in the office. We have our engineers, we have multiple roles, multiple departments, but I started off with supervising the sites myself.
That's fair.
So they still have a rapport with me and they still respect us and they are there. Like I remember one very nice incident. We were doing a project and the client's fridge went off at around, I think, 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. I called my electrician, he ran and got it fixed. Client was so happy, because if I had to stay disconnected, the entire stock would, go bad.
Go away.
So these are the small things which, keep us humble and have helped us. And today we are able to offer that service because, it's like an engine, different cogs of the wheel, which we've been, systematically oiling, and it's still a learning process. I would not say that it's set, because we are dealing, like, give you a perspective, one project will have about 10 to 15 different subcontractors with different roles, and they all have to be aligned. For example, if the electrician does not fit the switches, plastering won't move, painting won't move, finishing won't move. So every job is interrelated. Sometimes it's so minute that we have to come up with innovative techniques to solve it, but the client does not know. The point is we have to get the job done, get the job on time, and keep the client happy. So this has been our forte and our trump card, because of which I could say we are always busy. We're always busy.
I think you're dead right though. The first thing you said is that when when there was no supervisors, you actually went in and did it yourself. I think that's a really important learning curve any contractor or a construction company needs to have. That they need to know what the nitty-gritties and the ins and outs of the industry are. Like even when I started off with the office in my home, like a very small thing. I used to work out of my living room. Within 3 years, I had my own office with a massive team of 10. So it does go, but I think the values stay the same. Yes. That you do show up every single day, you do your bit, you do your supervision, and eventually obviously things will change and you will grow because you're offering that level of service. Another thing is that see, look, obviously it's not like back in the day when people had loads of time, and the homeowners would get really involved in the designing stage. They'd talk to all different contractors. The carpenter ko aisa phone karke bulayega, he'll call the painter. It's not the same anymore. People don't have the time. They have businesses and they have jobs to do. So I think kudos on closing that gap. That is what the Goan market required now. I think that is something what we are also trying to do, close the gap between a welder and giving the final constructed roof product. But because you close that gap, the convenience factor to the client just shot right up. The client really doesn't have to do...
Up to the roof.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have to do much. One agency, one payment, then you guys deal with everything else there is. That's very impressive. I want to ask you another question. Look, you said there's 15-20 agencies that you're dealing with. How are you managing the process planning of all of this?
That comes with another story. So it's been in the last 2 years that I've built my department. So now I have an accounts, I have my HR, I have my marketing. But earlier was all me. So my day would start with calling up workers, checking if they're on site, going on the site, checking.
Yeah.
And in terms of site, we've done extreme stuff on site. Like literally, I have waterproofed bathrooms by myself in the dead of the night, because next day tiling has to start. If that's a client of mine is listening to this, he will know. And the extreme part was that my baby was very small. So my wife was sitting at 2 a.m. with, I think he was around 5 months old, and we were both on site and I was waterproofing. So today I can teach anyone about that. It was very simple, nothing complex. But the point was that next day tiling had to start. The timelines were tight, and I had no shame. Like even today, if you ask me if you are doing your home, I'll tell you, Aniket, I'll tell you how to do it. I'll come and show you how to do it. And my attitude towards that has still been the same. I like extreme stuff we have done. Once we had to give a site handover. Again, I had no site engineers. I had no executive assistant. I had zero staff, and a handover had to be given at 4:30 p.m. Client were senior citizens, and they were coming very happy. It was a small site. They were like super excited, and my labor didn't show up for cleaning. And what do?
You did it yourself.
Yeah, I took off my shirt. I think I had half pants in my car, and I started cleaning. And 4:30 the client comes, and I changed. I put my shirt to save some dignity. And the client was like, Truven, why are you doing this? I said, my labor didn't show up. I'm sorry, but I had to clean it. So you ask me how to clean a toilet, I'll make it spotless even today. I have no shame. And in fact, one of my friend who used to work in a 5-star told me that the first thing you learn in a 5-star is how to make the bowl spotless, the toilet bowl. And I love it that way. So, I have no shame, and I think that's what is needed, the ownership. And I have come up from like a very middle class family. No one into business. So it was a very, very steep learning curve. Very steep learning curve.
I think that is the key basis of any strong entrepreneur. If you get it all given out to you, you'll never. It's about the personality. It builds you. Because what, and it says a lot about you. A man who's always got everything for free is walking down to close a deal. And a man who's worked through it all and walking up closing a deal, just the body language says it all. So I think those key factors of hard work and those I call them transferable skills. Across any industry, those skills are very important. But yeah, love to hear all of that. Good stuff. Moving on, let's have the next question. So what is one of the projects that you worked on? You've worked on around 300 projects so far, as far as I know. What is that one project that you are the most proud of?
That I was most
proud of, yeah.
Most proud of.
Or happy doing it?
Difficult to say. Like there are so many projects going on right now, but I would say that I'm most proud of how I hold those sites close to me. Couple of the sites wherein I was executing it myself, because I did not come from a civil background or a technical background. So I really cherish those clients who trusted me with their projects. Like I remember once walking into one site and realizing that my tiler totally screwed up the work, and the client was like, I did not want this. So, those situations no one prepares you for.
Yeah.
So those sites I really cherish, and I really, respect the people who gave me a start. The people, in Yelow, my first business revenue was 4,000. But my first business revenue goes back a couple of years to, I think 2013, where it was just 30 rupees. And, multiple different failed businesses. So I hold all those experiences very, close to my heart. And of course, the lessons that my clients have taught me, that's something which I will never forget. Until date, if I meet them, I tell them, that, hey, I remember you caught me for this, and I learned it because of you. Thank you. And those clients have literally given us blessings and said, what, Truven, enjoy, go ahead, conquer the world. And today, when they see us achieving some landmark, they drop us a text. Those are priceless. We value. I'm most proud of my relationships I have with some clients.
That's the most important.
The relationships I have, because I have so many times where people, place blind trust in faith, and we follow principles of ethics. We don't compromise on that. So this is what I would say I'm proud of.
So I've seen I've seen Casa Cherry. So was there anything in particular with Casa Cherry that, what was the designing or planning of Casa Cherry like? What was the first process? What do you think of? Obviously, you were very excited. That was one of your first big projects. And, how did you come up with the theme?
So there's a lot of stories attached to that project. So we got a call saying that, hey, Truven, can you do a BOQ estimate for this project? We said, okay, because we didn't have any other work back then. So we said, okay. We said, okay, we need to design. How much will you all pay us? So the fee what they paid us was probably 1/10 of what we would charge now. But
yeah.
we took it because something was better than nothing, and we used some help. I did not know how to fill a BOQ. The terms were rockets for me. They bounced off my head. I was calling people who I knew to understand what a BOQ is, what a quantity is, what is square foot, square meter. I didn't know anything. So we got help from people around. We finished the BOQ, and we just submitted, thinking like what the heck, like
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We
happens.
submitted, and to our fortunate luck and to my surprise, we got the project.
Yeah.
And back then I didn't even have a smartphone, so I was using a very old flip Samsung phone. And I still remember this. I was at home in our apartment and Joy was working on something else. And we were expecting the advance to come.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen such a big advance in my life before that. So, I got the advance. It was an SMS. Back then.
I can understand the happiness you must have had. Couple of days when I've closed the project, I'm just like, oh my god, when is it coming? And as soon as it pops, ding! I was like, yes, got it.
So that was my reaction when the message came. I closed it and I went to Joy and I said, Joy, we didn't get the project. She's like, what? We didn't get it? And I smiled. She's like, you liar, show me. So that was the first time I got an advance of 2 lakhs. I never had an NEFT of 2 lakhs before in my life. And from then on, things just, dots just connected.
So that was your first largest advance?
Yes, and first largest project.
Lovely.
So I could not believe. And we finished the project. COVID came in between. The project came to a stop. We didn't even we had workers. So I remember buying the furniture from Jodhpur. From Jodhpur we contacted a supplier on India Mart, and it was about, I think, 3 lakhs we had to pay. Again, my heart was like, should I pay?
Yeah.
Should I not? Because I don't know this guy. I said, okay, probably I had the kida, they call it, and I paid the advance. I said, okay, let's see what happens. The material came. And I was like, phew, okay, the material has come.
Every step. Now you wouldn't give, now you wouldn't even care about it. It's like, he'll send. The trust is just, you'll place an order in China now and you'd be like, they'll send. It's all right.
They'll send, because I had no backing. I had no investment. I had no capital. I didn't have much to fall back on.
Yeah,
but then, like for example, we had a painter who was a solo painter for that site. And he would work at his own pace.
Yeah.
And if you were to tell him something, he would say yes, but it would not get done. So when handover day came, the shutters were painted by us. And the railings on top were painted by us. We sat down, I changed, I said, screw it, we have to get it done. Let's start painting ourselves. So you ask me how to paint, also I'll tell you how to paint. But I'm very happy and I would not change this.
Yeah, of course.
If someone had to give me a chance to do it all over again, I would still do it the same way. Because it has taught me the values to be humble, to understand workers' problems, and to understand clients, most importantly. Because the client also had a lot of pressure to finish it on time.
Fair enough. So, Truven, how is being based in Goa affecting your design choices interior-wise? Obviously, the Goan real estate market or the construction market has a certain palette that they want to have. Like most of the times I see with a lot of Delhi or Bangalore-based builders, they want to give kind of like an Indo-Portuguese interior. How is Yelow doing with that? Like, what are you all offering?
So the local Goan market, like when we have first generation Goans who call us on board to design their homes, the requirements are very basic. And the interior market in Goa is still a baby. It's like,
you think?
Yeah, it's still a baby.
With the construction booming so much,
it's still a baby because people are still not very sure about what they want in terms of interiors. Like I've seen the difference when I talk to a person from here and I talk to a person from a metro in terms of the interior taste, in terms of the preferences.
Tell me, I'm very intrigued. What is the difference?
So for someone who's doing their home for the first time, with an interior designer, their requirements are very basic. They want a nice looking house. That's their brief. It has to suit the budget. They're not looking for Italian marble. They're not looking for premium sanitary ware.
Right.
They're not looking for curved walls and aluminium skirtings in the recessed wall. They're not looking for that because this is the first time they're doing. Probably when it gets to their second home, that's when their taste will get advanced. So this proves the fact that the market is still very nascent. It's very, very small. However, the next set of market which is in Goa for interiors is the part where we have developers, we have NRIs, we have people from other states approaching us. Yes, they do have a refined taste. So how we have to cope with that is constant learning. So we were in Delhi a couple of times for shopping, and that's how we learned. We go for exhibitions. We were planning a trip to China. In fact, my wife Joy is planning to study back again. She's probably planning to go to Italy and study
design.
Study design, because the market is crazy and we have to stay on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, education is the way to go. I definitely think you should go to China. I was in China last year. I spent like a month and a half there. I mean, look, if you want to trade, if you want to do anything innovative, those are the guys who can do it cheap, quality, efficiency, like all at once. Super fast. Going back to the original questions, kind of went off that. So what is the Goan market asking for in terms of design?
So the Goan market is fragmented. You have people who, like when my parents did up our house, or rather when your parents were doing up their house in Goa, a sofa was a sofa.
Yeah.
A bed was a bed, a wardrobe was a wardrobe. But now you have an L-shaped sofa, you have a recliner sofa, you have hundreds of choices in fabrics. So this section of the market asks for the basics. Their brief is very simple: make the house look nice, make it look welcoming. The next section of the market is the premium market. So that's wherein the Italian finishes come. That's wherein all the imported lights come. Italian furniture comes in. So it's a mix, but it's fun to work. For us, the ultimate satisfaction is when a client is happy about their space. So the happiness for you and happiness for me is defined differently. So in terms of design options, it's crazy. Like, now with the advent of AI, our learning has become faster. And we are also adopting AI because contrary to popular belief, AI cannot design. As of now, AI cannot design. It cannot design to scale. It can give you ideas. That's it. But designing is still a very manual, labor-intensive process and a creative process. Being a creative process, the mind needs a break. We can't mass-produce designs.
That's true. That's one of those things which needs a human touch, I think. What is one of the craziest interior design element or like a interior facade that you've worked on? Is there something, there's a special requirement from the client that, I want a big sculpture or something of that sort, and then, you all guys did it? Something out of the ordinary, beyond the furnishings and the furniture.
starts. And then every 15 days you get like an update call from our team, like, where your project has reached, what is starting next, where we're lagging behind, what decisions you have to give. Because to give you an example, if you don't decide on what type of a bathroom fitting to put, we can't do the plumbing. Therefore, we can't do the tiling. Therefore, we can't finish a bathroom.
Makes sense.
So people who are doing it for the first time need to be told that, hey, look, if you don't decide on this, we cannot move ahead.
That's true.
And that's when they say, okay, come on, let's finalize it. So this has helped us,
of course,
up to a large extent.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the way to go ahead. Strategy and systemic approaches. So in the last podcast also, I discussed that labor, in India, no matter how good of a product, you can bring the best of tiles, best of adhesives, best of interior products, but because there is no formal schools for like say carpentry, there's only one. I think ITI is there, but I think it's very generic. But there's no school of carpentry like they have in Europe, America, or abroad. They don't have school of painting. They don't have school of these finer arts or professions, you could say. So I'm sure across all of these projects that you're doing, there is times when you struggle to find that right mason or the right painter. How do you deal with the lack of skilled labor in the Indian industry?
So I believe that if a resource is not there, you build it, or you buy it, or you borrow it. So this is when I think 6 months back, I sat with my marketing team and HR team, and we launched the Yelow School of Design. So what the Yelow School of Design does, we are training our team. We are also training our vendors.
Yeah.
We are training our workers. So in terms of my team that's there in Yelow, we are about 18-20 of us. I think over the last quarter, they have visited all our suppliers. They have gone to factories to see how things are made, because they come with textbook knowledge, no real world life. So I want them to know what a dowel joint is, what a screw is, what a mini fix is, what a hinge is, what a concealed hinge is. So they're going to my vendors and learning. Now in terms of my contractors and laborers, they are very good at their work, but they don't know time management.
Yeah.
They don't know scheduling. They don't know commitment.
No.
So we called in all the vendors and our laborers to site, to the office, and I said, hey, look, these are the sites you're working on, but please remember these sites are also there.
Yeah.
So for our critical workers, we prepare the schedule and we send it to them on a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Because the earlier system was very erratic. Say there were 5 sites going on and one electrician, you would get 5 calls.
Okay.
From 5 different people from my office, and he would not know where to run. So now we are prioritizing his work. We know what is maintenance, because we look after maintenance. After a site is done, we are there for maintenance.
Okay.
So the number of jobs are literally given to him like a job card, where he knows he has to go. His route basically is planned. And these guys are first time working with an interior company, because there's no
other company.
There's no large company in Goa.
Yeah,
so even for me to hire talent, I don't know where to hire them from.
Wow.
So we are building people from scratch.
Wow.
So we are building laborers also from scratch, wherein we tell them that, are you getting proper drawings?
Yeah. No, I've heard of systems being put on your own team, like, the in-house management team. But it is brilliant that you can go ahead and put out systems and train contractors and subcontractors and these workers to, it just brings together that common vision,
Yes.
This is what we need to achieve. And
It's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's an entire ecosystem, and these guys, no one has taught them.
Yeah.
No one has taught them management. No one has taught them commitment. No one has taught them professionalism. I tell some of my guys, like, they dress up improper. I tell them, and they say, no sir, site it gets dirty. I said, I don't care. I'm not telling you to wear Armani, but at least wear a clean shirt and comb your hair properly.
That's all.
And that has a huge impact when you come to site. So these guys have to be constantly reminded, and the best part is that they are improving. So we call them and we ask them, are you getting all details on time? Because oftentimes it is that we want them to do work, but we've not given them the details. We've not given them material selection, no proper drawings. So therefore all our sites, if you anytime visit, there'll be drawings stuck on the wall. So we've gone to the extent of asking them, like, if say Mr. Ali is our carpenter, so we say, hey Ali, are all drawings coming on time to you? Are you getting all details on time? If he says no, it means that the system malfunction, which I need to fix. But to avoid that, if you enter any of our sites, you'll see drawings stuck everywhere. So he doesn't have to open his WhatsApp phone. Sometimes they can't answer their call
That's true, because they're working.
when they are working, or their data doesn't work, or there's no network on site. So, we just tell them, look at the wall. Then we have groups. Then we have a route system where our team visits.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen, if you can master communication, Aniket, you can manage. That is the most critical part,
100%.
especially site lingo.
Site lingo.
Like your office team has to understand site lingo. They need to know what a olamba is, what a katkona is, what a line dory is, what a bottom putty is.
Of course.
So they need to understand this, otherwise it bounces over their head. So communication and bringing them together. And I always give a lot of weightage to my contractors, payments on time. And in fact, recently, about a couple of months back, I had one of my vendor coming and saying, sir, don't give me my payments upfront. I said, why? He's like, no, sir, I end up spending it. I said, look, we can't do that. If we have got an advance, you'll get your advance. You please open another account, transfer your money there and spend from there. But I can't hold your payments. So
you've got a really good system going there as well.
Yes.
Like you get an advance, you put the advance so that these contractors also really want to work with you.
Yeah, and we have developed a database and we have blacklisted some vendors. So my accounts also knows to be careful with them and not make their too much of payment on time. But then some guys who are there with us for 7 years, we can even pay them 100%, they'll still perform.
That's true.
And these workers, I have realized this, the challenging part is they understand only money. The way you can control them is with money. So I've seen instances where, small people, like for example, our carpentry contractor makes a killing. His business is huge, what we give him. So I've seen guys who have suddenly seen money and then, lost their
Yeah, makes sense.
So you have to control that aspect as well.
Yeah, I understand.
And sometimes they come to you with their problems, you need to listen.
True. What I've realized is it's very important to kind of understand the capacity of the other subcontractor, because sometimes we've noticed that we really like one subcontractor's work and we want to give him all the work, and when we do that give him 3 or 4 sites, and that's when it goes all wrong.
He can't handle it.
Because he cannot handle it, and then it kind of breaks the trust again. So Truven, now that we know what you do, I kind of want to bring it back to the roofs, and it is roof talk, and I want to know how big of a role does roofs and ceilings and skylights play in any interior space? What is your perspective as a interior designer and interior builder?
Roofs add a lot of character to the facade, and it can define your entire structure. So roofs have now transitioned from the normal 2-way, 4-way. Now I see a lot of crazy stuff being done with roofs, and that is only possible with the new materials which you are specializing in. So roofs, yes, they do play an important factor. It's no longer Mangalore tiles.
Yes.
That has become obsolete. Before that it was asbestos sheets, tin sheets, POF panels, but roofs are now crazy. There's lots we can do. A lot of aesthetics can be managed with the roof, and that's the main highlight of a house. If I would if I see a beautiful house, the roof really is something which is sometimes well planned out, and it's crazy now the stuff we can do. I was seeing some of your videos, some projects you are working on. That's like Spider-Man level of stuff.
I mean, it does give you the structural system. Does give you a little bit of a flexibility of design. And a lot of architects love to play around with it. They can use it as a facade. They can use the roof actually acts as a roof and the facade. So the trend right now is to build this high ceiling A-shaped roofs. So you get like massive amounts of headspace. Have you seen any of this?
Yes.
I don't know if you've gotten to work with any A-frame roofs.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. It's just a very charming concept to have skylights. Skylights off this A-frames, and then you just have really high ceilings. Plus, I don't know, just new concept. I guess it's good utilization of space. You've got limited space. It goes above. And then, it's good stuff. What do you think in terms of functionality? How big of a role do you think roofs play?
In Goa, yes, function is very important because of the salinity, moisture, dust and moisture is equals to fungus, mold. So durability is something what is often stressed upon,
Yes.
and
So
I think that
do you
limits.
know what causes the moss, the fungus and the moss?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the buildup of dust followed by the moisture and the
Yeah.
humidity.
So look, yeah, scientifically, yes. But the thing is, a lot of old homes, they with thick concrete slabs, lack ventilation and smaller windows. Right now, see, the roofs not only offer ventilation, like the roofs that we build. They are called structural system roofs. So they've got multiple layers and components in them. So essentially, it caters for a lot of things like leakages. It'll cater for your insulation. RCC slabs are very bad with insulation. They'll heat up throughout the day and they'll kind of keep passing it on to you in the night. Whereas our system roofs are well ventilated with air, and the heat will come as far as the insulation, but it will not pass from them. The other way, this is from top to bottom. From bottom to top, heat always rises. So a lot of these integrated roof systems have vents or jalis, wherein the moist, humid air passes up and out of the roof. We've got something called ridge vents, which are placed at the top of the roof, so the air kind of always circulates in within the roof and in the house. So this is the technology which will allow for less mold, moss, and fungus formation in the house. Dust is there, but it's also the air that
Which is
needs to
not
move
moving
around.
out.
If the air doesn't move around, humidity increases, and once humidity increases, it gives a substance for the moss to just grow. So I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of the interior projects, or a couple of the projects that I have seen, um, designers or architects try to integrate. So they'll have a concrete slab, right? They'll have a concrete slab, and they'll try to integrate this old Portuguese rafters into them. So essentially, what they do is that they'll take a piece of wood or MS frame, and they'll stick it to the concrete from the bottom, and to make it look like a old Portuguese house, like those rafters running. And I kind of find it really funny because today I think we have the technology to build roofs when you don't need to actually build the heavy reinforced concrete slabs. Our structural system roofs are more than enough to cater for all your requirements. These roofs are going to last you 50, 60 years, even more. The type of paint systems we use in them, the high quality insulations that we use in them, the roof tile that we use in them, and you can actually use the structural member as a part of your
Design.
interior ceiling, rather than you faking it using a
Mhm.
pseudo one. And the best part about doing the structural roofs is that the functionality. As I said earlier, I'm repeating myself, that concrete will always heat your house up.
Tremendous heat, especially in high rises.
Yeah, and even on a bright sunny day, weather like Goa, it is going to heat it up. It's going to drive your electrical costs and air conditioning costs up. Whereas these roofs are not, they've got ventilation through them. They're going to keep your house cool. Electrical costs are going to stay on the down low. So I think that is the new trend.
So Aniket, I'd like to ask you, what made you get specifically only into roofing? What drives you?
So see, look, I think just like yourself, where you identified a very unorganized industry, wherein there was a big gap between the construction or the subcontractors and the client. That is pretty much what I saw as well. I wouldn't say I was born saying I want to build roofs. I don't think you are either. I wouldn't say it was always my dream to become a roofer. But I think it's something that I did consistently. I tried to close that gap, and I got good at it. Now I'm just looking at different opportunities in roof itself. Like, there's so much more. I think I have realized the potential of roofing industry. I've seen that a lot of the products, a lot of the systems that are currently there in the West are not present present in India because of cost factor. But now India's grown. We've got people who've got money and they can afford this high-end systems. And so this is what we are trying to do right now, is that we are trying to bring in products from America, New Zealand, China, these highly technological countries, and kind of integrate and use them in India to build this system roofs. So I would say I also realized that gap, that there was not one single agency that was looking after the construction of it all. People always looked at roofing as, oh, there's a carpenter who will come and do the woodwork, or there's a welder who will come and do the fabrication, and then there'll be a village tiler who will come and put the tiles. I mean, that's the most basic thing there is. Today's client demands more. What if the tile breaks? What's going to happen? What is going to come straight in? What if the wood rots? What's going to happen? You can't risk all of that. It's today's demand is way too high to kind of today's clientele is way too posh also to kind of look into all of this little detailing. They want convenience, they want comfort, they want security, and that is where I think we are kind of transforming it, wherein we follow a certain standard of SOPs. We close that gap between a basic welder and an actual roof building company, which take care of all the essential, not just the functionalities of the roof, but also the essential, detailing, as to, like, if the steel needs to be scrubbed and painted twice, it needs to be done. That the standard SOPs have to be followed so that the roof lasts a very long time. So just overall building a good quality product is the goal, and I think that was the reason why we've been very successful in the last couple of years to grow Skyline. Like, we've gone as far as Andaman and Nicobar Islands. We built a 50,000 square feet resort project over there, all A-shaped, beautiful roofs. Now I'm doing a project in Delhi. So quality goes far. Your SOPs, your the way you operate, basically, as long as you have transparent communication, there's no contractor in this world who doesn't make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but it's all about the transparent communication that's gonna make you a good company. Accountability. For me, it's like, if we make a mistake, there's no looking twice. It's like remove and redo. There's no sugarcoating. Paint mein nikal jayega, paint dalenge. So we don't operate like that.
No 19-20.
No 19-20. If the client doesn't like it, remove and redo until he likes it. That's the final verdict right there. But yeah. I think going forward, construction, the RCC, the concrete construction, is going to get a little bit more expensive because it is very labor intensive, and I think, and it's more time consuming. I think this structural walls, structural buildings in general are going to have a dynamic change on how they are constructed. Right now a house in India, in Goa, takes around 2 to 3 years to build. The same house in America is built in 3 months. It's all copy pasted. It's all constructed in a factory, in a big factory. And I saw my aunt's house being built. So it was built in 3 months, an absolute gorgeous looking house with the flooring, the skirting, the kitchen, everything. There's a big file of blueprints from the floor to the top. It's one big file. It's literally all made into a factory. They do the concreting, a foundation on site, and after that it's just assemble. I think another 5 to 10 years, that is going to be us. People are not going to have the time to, or the patience to wait 3 years for the house to be built. And how painful this is for the client. It's absolute pain on the pocket. The budgets never stay. If you keep a 10 lakh rupee budget, it's never going to be 10 lakhs. I did a renovation myself. It went 60% above the given budget by the BOQ architect. So I don't think people want that anymore. And what if you don't have that money? You know, what are you going to do then? You're going to leave your renovation. So I think it is going to move towards a more organized, structured construction industry in the next 10 years, wherein everything is pre-planned, everything is pre-costed, and there is going to be no absolute changes in the cost. Just people will come in, build your house within 3-4 months and go.
No brainer basically.
No brainer. Yeah, there'll be most copy-paste designs and you'll get a couple of options. But I think people at this point in time will prefer convenience over niche designs. Obviously, there'll be a couple of millionaires who just want what they want. But the wide majority would still,
Settle
choose
for-
convenience. Yeah.
Right.
And these are very nice houses, in fairness. Nice wooden flooring, everything. It is setting in now. Before, builders used to not give full furnished houses, man. Now everybody's giving couches and beds
Ready
and
to move,
furnishings
ready to
and
move.
ready to move in. So the shift is there.
There's a lot happening in the industry. It's a good industry to be in.
So Truven, now I see a lot more new interior or construction or even roofing products coming into the market all the time. How does your team or you yourself keep up with all of these new products coming in, and how do you utilize it, and what is more or less your SOP towards looking or approaching a new product?
So on a typical day, my phone must be bombarded with at least 5 vendor calls, which I then forward to my vendor team in the office. So we have a lot of products being offered to us, but as leaders in the industry, or we have certain authority and certain moral responsibility to first test the product. So, for example, we had one product being given to us by a very reputed company, and that guy has been following up with me for a very long time.
Yeah.
And finally he came, he shipped samples to us. So I've given it to my team to make and test.
Okay.
It is basically a substitute for plywood, and the claims what they have given we are going to be testing, because after we implement it, so the cost difference is quite big, but the longevity is a lot. It's basically lifetime, exterior grade. It won't catch fire, no problem with termites. So we're testing it. It's in testing phase, because sometimes we get even new laminates coming in, but laminates have an inherent property of if it's not manufactured rightly, then the application does not happen. So when we are sometimes averse to change, because we also get confident and we feel safe by using the same products, but then we have to be open. So I've been thinking of this for a very long time, but I've my mind keeps going with mini explosions, like let's do this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, in fact,
Many experts. I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
like many nuclear
all the time.
all the time.
I want to do this, I want to do this, and I kind of keep making notes all the time, aggressively.
Yeah, but then it does not happen. So
Yeah.
a long time I've been pending to, I want to start a small R&D department.
Wow.
Wherein we can test materials. Like, for example, if they say this tile does not break,
Huh.
I want to have an area in my office where I can keep hammering it, throw it everywhere and see if it breaks or not.
Yeah.
So that's what we are confident. If someone says that this ply does not catch fire,
You want to burn it and
I
see.
want to burn it and see. In fact, the first time I used glass wool, I asked the supplier, will it catch fire? He said no. Electrician said no. So I actually took a lighter and I set it on fire. It didn't catch fire. And I said, okay.
So you work with a lot of insulations as well.
We use insulation, especially when we are doing fabricated roofs, and heat is going to come in, noise is going to come in, and sometimes it's an existing roof, so we can't use PUF panels. So then we have to use a false ceiling with glass wool.
I would tell you, rather than using glass wool, you go for a PIR panel next time, or even if when you use PUF, which is sheet on top, sheet at the bottom, and then
A sandwich.
a sandwich basically.
Foam.
So that foam comes in variety of types. PUF is the most basic one. Then you also have PIR, which is a little bit more advanced. It's a different type of foam. So this insulation has one of the lowest thermal conductivity. So when people ask me, what is the insulation based on? If you ask me, how many degrees it will reduce? I don't know how many degrees it will reduce. It's not based on the degrees. It's based on the thermal conductivity of that product. There's no
The material.
Yeah, you cannot give an answer in degrees, because it depends on surface temperature. It depends on what the outside temperatures are.
Cloud cover, so many variations.
So many different but a product which has the least thermal conductivity is obviously going to pass on the least amount of heat. So PIR panels, a little bit more on the expensive side, but if in case of fabricated roofs, I think PIR panels are the most efficient form of insulation there is, and I think you should explore that.
Good to know. Good to know.
So yeah, please continue.
Where was I?
Your R&D department throwing shit.
Yeah. So when you say opening up to new products, we have to be careful.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow we need service. So if someone comes and says, what this
Have
thing,
you made mistakes?
we have made mistakes, but not drastic ones, because we've always stuck to brands.
Yeah.
Like I had one product which went bad on a site, and then the company denied warranty because they showed us the fine print. So general public,
it's always the fine print.
Yeah, general public says, hey, look, this is getting 10 years warranty, you're not giving me anything. So one product failed, and we had to be accountable. The company, the OEM denied it, saying that read the fine print, but we can't tell our client that. So we changed it. No questions asked. We changed everything.
I think see, it's very important to save yourselves from those losses, to have that R&D thing.
Yes.
Kind of, you bring in a product, because when these new products come in, they have such huge presentations, massive marketing budgets. They come in with this glorified image of this particular product. You're like, wow, that's gonna make me rich, and you cannot get greedy over it. Then when you actually use it, couple of seasons, couple of months, couple of weeks down the line, you realize, damn, it's not working out.
It's not working out.
I'll tell you what, there's been products which we have taken on from a particular vendor. We thought the product was really good, didn't receive any formal training, and did wide scale marketing for it, supplied it very widely, installed it, and every single site we had that product installed failed. Companies like, look, not a problem, fine print, so replaced everything free of cost. I was like, I lost more money in your product than I ever made, but you need a slap on your face once to kind of realize that next time you bring on a product, study it well. I think that's absolutely important. How do you strike a balance between the modern design and the old Goan timeless design?
Oh, tough question, because when we get a brief, clients themselves sometimes, most of the time, don't know what style they want. So we have to really break it down, and when we are doing the Hello Yelow session, the design brief, we have to get into your psyche and give you answers, because many a times we've seen people don't really know they're doing it for the first time. So we have to understand. Then they start showing us photos. They say, okay, look, I went to New York, I went to Canada, I like this. Then we know, okay, these are the elements the client likes, like raw finishes, raw wood, or they want contemporary.
But you also have to work out the functionality of those our weather, right?
We have to, because many times they ask us for things which are not going to work. Like we've had people who say, hey, why are you using this? Why don't you use this? Then you have to educate them, pros and cons, and be like, okay, fine. We won't ask you again. You please use this, because people don't know and they trust us to know everything.
Yeah.
And that's a huge responsibility, which means we have to study everything. Everything possible in design. So the styles of design vary. Now, luxury design is again diluted. Like, everyone is saying they do luxury design, but luxury design is really a class apart.
Yeah.
And it's really finesse and using good expensive materials. That is luxury. So now luxury is diluted. We have luxury coming up everywhere, but it's not true luxury.
True luxury.
It's like faux luxury, what they call it.
Makes sense.
So it's a fine line we have to tread. Ultimately, it's the client's house, the client's office. We have to give them what they want, and that's what we work together as a team. I always tell my entire team that hey, look, the client is investing money. They're paying us for our services, so let's give them what they want, and at the same time be there as an advisor. So we never impose a design or a style. We have to really mix, match, and walk. It's like a tightrope walk. Walking in between design functionality and what the client wants.
What do most of your Goan clients want?
They want a beautiful home. They want to come home to a 5-star feeling. This is the
Hmm.
brief. These are the lines. They like, hey Truven, I want my bedroom to feel like a 5-star. And we're like, okay, we can do that. And I understand from where this is coming. Like, traditionally, like the house which I have grown up, I have seen when I've been growing up, there was no sense of design. Like a designer would probably pull out their eyes if they had to see those houses.
Yeah, but I think the old Portuguese houses, the old Portuguese houses, they were
Yes.
absolutely gorgeous.
That is the refined class. I'm talking about
Yeah.
the middle class.
Yeah, okay.
Now the middle class also wants design. Like middle class, I remember seeing so many spaces where nothing ever matched. The shapes didn't match, the colors didn't match.
Then there was makeshift.
Yes, and then there was a privileged class, the elite Goans. In fact, recently I came across a site, I saw such beautiful furniture. Someone had donated that to a church. I fell in love with that furniture. It was from, I think, China, but that furniture is probably like 50, 60 years old and was mint condition. Mint condition. It looked like it was fresh out of the showroom.
Wow.
And it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. So there has been design for a very long time. In fact, for example, if you remember the olden flooring, the mosaic, terrazzo has come back.
Terrazzo has come back
And now it's fading off. Lime plaster is coming back.
Remember my house back 25 years ago in my parents' building, they put terrazzo tiles. They were very popular back then, but 10 years down the line, they're like, because all these wooden finished tiles, these big tiles, but now terrazzo's bounced back.
Terrazzo has come back. So, fashion repeats itself in different forms, even in our industry. Like the filament bulbs are come back.
Really?
The filament bulbs in cafes, we had the tungsten bulbs. Now we have filament LED bulbs coming in. You had those big Portuguese chandeliers which were replaced with modern lights. So now people want that back. So the trends keep changing. And it's very a volatile scene in
it's a mix
design.
and match of a lot as well.
Yes.
So would you have any tips for our viewers or homeowners who are trying to build a new house, who are trying to design a new interior?
Please hire professionals. Please invest in professionals. I tell all my clients, because if you plan it right, you will save time. Time is money. You will have less hassles.
Fair.
Get the right people. If you're planning a house, please get an architect, RCC consultant. Interior designer is optional. If your architect does not do design, then you need an interior designer, because the myth is that interior design is expensive. It's not expensive. You can actually make the house look beautiful with moderate costing stuff. But it's a myth that, IDs are expensive.
I always think that it's not about the cost, You can make a home look really pretty, or you can make a space look really pretty with very minimalistic things. You just need to know what the right colors, what the right components are there.
Very true.
Conventionally, I think people have been battered into using 20 millimeter plywoods and mica, this and that, and creating these heavy structures, and blowing the cost right out of proportion. But I think minimalistic design also works.
There are many options. When we do holiday homes, we can give a beautiful house in a very moderate budget.
Yeah.
You don't have to be spending excessive. For example, tiles cost the same. Floor tiles cost is same for a similar size. It'll be 90 rupees a square foot, 100 rupees a square foot. But it depends what color you choose and how you blend it with the rest of your interiors.
Fair enough.
You can't have a loud tile and moderate walls, and then your space is going to look small.
Yeah, makes sense.
You have everything right and you choose the wrong paint color for the walls, it's a mess.
Also the lighting,
yes,
I think is very important in any space.
So it's very simple. It's the right colors, right placement, and just bringing these elements together.
Fair. Well, Truven, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you today with all kinds of interior stuff and construction. I'm glad you came today. Before we go, I just want our viewers to know where they can find you, where they can see your work.
So you can find us on Instagram. We are the handle is Yelow with a single L. I also have my personal profile, Truven Jorge. If you search me on Insta, you'll be there. We're there on Google listing. And please feel free to get in touch. We do a lot of reels wherein we give away a lot of advice, because education is most important.
Lovely.
So please, thank you, Aniket.
All right.
I
Pleasure.
enjoyed this conversation.
All right. So, for our viewers, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We've got a lot of industry leaders lined up for you. Stay tuned and subscribe.